Hello and welcome to another Nostale video. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about my thoughts on Nostale in general and some of the reasons that I stopped playing. So let's just get into it. I know some people have been asking about if I was going to make more videos and what happened, and I don't know that anything really happened. It was more of just I wasn't enjoying the game as much as I used to. Um, on top of that, making videos is a little extra effort. So playing a game that I don't enjoy plus putting extra effort into it just didn't really seem worth it to me. Um, And I guess let's talk a little more about Nostale and what I think about it. So I've been playing for a long, long time, um, many years, and I've enjoyed it. I still enjoy it. I'm sitting here playing, and I realize I've missed playing it, but I think there are a few major problems with the game that are just difficult to get past, and it just doesn't seem like it's worth playing for me the way it is right now. So, one of those reasons is this idea that you and everybody pretty much plays with more than one account at a time. In some cases, many accounts at a time. Some people use, I think, 10 or more accounts at once. Um, which really just makes it more difficult for the people using one account, and it just makes it almost not worth it, because all the tasks that you do to try and grind for good equipment or gold or anything like that are just kind of pointless because someone else is out there doing it on 10 accounts at the same time and they're making 10 times more than you, and they're driving down the prices of everything. So sitting here grinding for items or gold is just not really worth it anymore. Um, and I think that's a difficult problem to solve. I'm not sure that I really have an answer of how to fix that. Um, but I know it's something that I don't know. It's just kind of frustrating because it seems like it's not worth your time unless you're playing several accounts at one time, and I don't like doing that. I like focusing on the game and taking it slow, playing one character at a time. So I think that's one of the big problems with the game. Another problem is there's hmm, most of the new stuff that comes out is um, there are things that you have to pay real money for. So, which I don't mind as much anymore since I actually have some money to spend on the game. But one of the other things is when you keep adding new things in the game that are worth a lot of money and better than all of the items that you can grind for, then doing anything else in the game kind of seems pointless. Like you can just spend the money and get 10,000 gold rather than sitting here trying to spend the time to earn it. So there aren't many activities in the game that are worth spending time on. So maybe if there were actually more things that you could spend time on to earn things or receive things that you can't get just by paying gold for, I think that would be really great. I did like the idea of the fishing specialist. I think was a really good start. Like you can kind of get, and you you don't really need to do it, but I think it's a really cool addition that someone who wants to make some extra money, they can go get this fishing specialist and go try to earn some that way. I think, and again, it's kind of a waste because you could just spend the money in real life, but I think giving people different ways of earning money and items in the game is pretty good. I think the fishing one is a pretty interesting one, and I actually really liked how they did that, and I like that you can just sell the fish and get money. I think that was a pretty good addition, in my opinion. Even if many people don't use it, I still think it's pretty cool. Um, anyway, the other thing that I just find difficult is, especially when replaying the game, and this becomes a problem with like when we have server changes and merges and well, not merges, but when new servers get opened up. It's a problem for me because I've played through the game so many times and it's always exactly the same. And I don't think that, I mean, changing the main story and the main quests could help. And I know there have been some changes to make it easier, which I appreciate. And I think that was, um, those were some good changes. But you think about other MMOs and you really realize that there are a lot of areas that you can go to and things that you can do and quests that you can do outside of the main storyline. And if you've played the game enough, you realize that the side quests are not good in Nostale. You know, they're just go collect these few items and earn some gold from it, pretty much. Um, which, I mean, I guess is the main thing of any quest, but it's just they're very, very simple, and there are no, I guess the story is very linear, so you start at one point in the main quests and you just continue along the path, and there's really no reason to do anything else um, at those levels. I mean, maybe you can go do QB raids and get QB seals and stuff, but that's one of the few things I would stop and do when trying to level up a character in Nostale. So I think that part of the game is kind of lacking. There's not much content outside of the main quest, and I guess there probably is for the really high level stuff. But I think, especially for new players and people playing through the game again, it's just kind of boring to do the main quests and nothing else. You know, there's really nothing worthwhile to do outside of main quests when you're leveling up. So that was another one of my issues that I've had with the game is just you start the main quests and you go the whole way through to level 55. Then you do Land of Death until you get a high level, and then you move on to other things. So yeah, it takes a lot of time to get through the main story, and there's really it's very boring. And you just go straight through from one quest to another the whole time. Which I get that some MMOs are like that as well, some other MMOs, but that's one thing that really deters me from a game is just having a completely linear story. Like you go from point A to point B to point C and just don't do anything else. I never really liked that. Another thing is that the events that happen, so through not just these like weekend events that they have where you can, increase the chance of your specialist card, increasing your specialist card and stuff. I think those are okay. But more like the big events, like Christmas events and stuff, it's always really the same kind of stuff. And it's just repetitive, you know? So it's, and hmm, yeah. So I think the stories may change slightly. And like, on top of being repetitive, like the same every kind of, I would say they're pretty similar or maybe exactly the same every year. So like the Christmas event is very, very similar every year, or maybe exactly the same. And not just that, but the other events as well, they are basically the same with different kinds of storylines. So, you know, you just do some raid and kill some raid boss, and that's it. And it's very, I would say, the act of going through the raid is pretty similar for every event. And there's really nothing special about the events. In fact, the thing I like most about the event is the drops that you get that can heal you, like really good snacks and stuff. That to me is at least useful, that I can use every day outside of just going and doing the same raid over and over. So that's one of the things. That's not a huge one. I mean, I wish they would do some different events, but I don't. Those are only on certain occasions, so I don't think that's really going to change the game completely if they started doing different events. Um, One of the other things I think is there are a lot of new servers and server merges and stuff like that. And I don't mind it that much. I don't think it's great, but it comes back to that point that I made earlier about um, having to replay the game over and over. Um, so not just for every account that you create, but every time there's a new server being created, you kind of want to, I mean, obviously you want to go to the new server and try it out, and it's the same thing again, and you have to play through the same quests again. Um, so yeah, that's kind of boring. And like I said, there's nothing worthwhile outside of just doing the main quests and trying to get back to the level you were at before. So I don't mind it so much and I wouldn't mind it that much if was more content in the game in the middle levels and lower levels. Because right now they're adding a bunch of new content, and it's good. I actually haven't played a lot of the new content, but I appreciate the fact that they are adding new things. But the difficulty is for newer players and even players returning to the game. It takes a long time to get to that content, especially if you're not playing multiple accounts at the same time. And it's really repetitive and kind of boring to go through the main quests, especially, like I said, if you're a returning player and you're doing it again. Um, it's not a very fun experience, in my opinion. So I think the biggest thing that could be done to improve the game is just add more lower and middle level content, and just not just things that will get you some the same kind of gold as you would get grinding at lower levels. Like, you need to make it worthwhile and have things that you can only get and only do um, you know by doing those things. You can't just go out and buy it with real money. I think that's one of the problems, is you can just go spend money in the NOS Mall and sell items, and then you can buy anything pretty much. There's really not much that can't buy other than levels. I mean, you can even do that too. You can pay someone to level you up. So yeah, it's tough when the best items are in the NOS Mall and they're the only ones worth getting, and everything else just seems like kind of a waste. So yeah, those are my thoughts. I don't know. I mean, even things like maybe an achievement system or something, I think could be useful. Those are the kinds of things, they're not really valuable, like they don't really do anything, but they kind of give you a sense of accomplishment, like you achieved something. If there's an achievement for doing a raid, then you kind of want to go out and do that raid just to get the achievement, and maybe you receive rewards from getting so many achievements or something like that. I don't know. Just thinking out loud. But yeah, that I know people have been asking like if I'm going to return to the game and stuff. I don't know. I mean, I like the game, but for me, just playing it for so many years and, you know, doing the same thing more or less over and over is just not really worth it. And I don't feel like really getting anywhere. And I feel like even if I did spend the time and effort to level up to a high level, which I may do at some point, I don't know, then there would just be a server merge, and I would have to go do, or not a merge, but a new server, and then everyone would leave the existing server to go to the new server, so I would have to go start all over again. So one of the things they did recently was they created the event server, which I thought was an amazing idea. I played very little amounts of it just because I had kind of a lot of stuff going on and I didn't really have the time to dedicate to it. I wish I would have because it seemed really cool. I think, sorry. I think one of the things that maybe they could have done better is faster experience, maybe more experience. I don't know. I think it was double experience, and I don't know. What I was kind of imagining was um, something a lot faster. Like 4 times experience or something. So you can just get to a crazy level quickly and then just explore all the content, or explore at least some of it. But I don't know. I'm not a game designer. I don't work at GameForge, so I'm sure there are reasons why they made it double XP or whatever modifier they used. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I thought that was really cool. I didn't like, I think you again had to use the battle pass to keep your character, which I think either required you could probably buy it in the NOS Mall by um I don't know. I'm not sure how it worked. But you could probably I think you could also grind it for free, but it probably would have taken a lot of time and effort and work. So I'm not sure how many people actually got to keep their characters. Um that'd be interesting to see. I didn't like I said, I didn't have enough time to spend on the event to really see how it worked. So I don't know. I don't know how much work that would have been to actually get that thing to keep your character. But I did think that was one thing that they did that was really cool was create the event server where you it was a little faster paced, I guess. You didn't have to sit down for hours and hours and hours and grind like you do in the normal game. But yeah, so those are some of my thoughts. Yeah, to me, it just doesn't seem like it's worth playing the game right now, which I still think it's a good game, and I think it's great that a lot of people are still playing. But for me and my time, it just doesn't make sense to play, or doesn't make sense to spend a whole lot of time on the game. Um, yeah, that's my thoughts. I still think it's a good game. I think it's fun, and I hope that they continue making improvements and making changes. I know they're doing some balancing of the specialist cards, or at least I think they are, which I thought was really cool. I'm glad to see that they're trying to make some changes to make the game better. I just wish they would change Assassin back to the way it used to be. Used to be my favorite card, and now it's just not. Doesn't seem very good, at least not for PvE. Maybe it's good in PvP. I don't know, but that's another thing actually. PvP is filled with people that are just way too high of level. Like, what's that event called? Rainbow Crystal Battle. You just, I haven't played it in a long time, but last I remember, it was just you get killed by people with incredibly powerful specialist cards and equipment, and you just really have no chance of winning. But yeah, so I always struggled with PvP. I like PvP, but it just seems so unfair. Like someone can be way more powerful than you, and you just get killed in one shot. So I kind of wish there were better methods of PvPing people your own level. But yeah, we'll see. Um, those are my thoughts. I've rambled on for a long time now, so I'm probably going to go. Questions are that I've seen are why did you stop making videos? Like I said, doesn't seem like it's worth my time and effort right now. Maybe I will in the future. And I stopped playing Nostale because I just didn't find it as enjoyable anymore. What is this? Interesting. So looks like there's something new here, which is really cool. But yeah, that those are my thoughts. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I know it's not a normal Nostale video, and I wouldn't expect many more Nostale videos in the near future. Like I said, I might come back someday, but I don't know for sure, and I'm not sure when that would be or how that would work, but we'll see. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.